So I actually heard a statistic. I don't know how true this is, but 43% of people fall off their New Year's resolutions in the month of February. So basically, 43% of the people, I guess in the United States, right? I don't know if this is conclusive, they fall off working out. I mean, what's your guys' biggest take on how you think people can avoid falling off their workout regimen?
Yeah, that's an issue that I think at first it starts with mindset. And I think even just like, yeah, like I get the resolution. Like if you're like first starting fitness and stuff, like, yeah, resolution, but it should get to a point of where it's like I'm resoluted. I don't need to keep every year making new goals and new plans. It's like I have these goals and plans and I chase them for years and years and years. It shouldn't change really too
How
much.
would you change that mindset for people?
I guess to kind of really just play the long game more instead of like this year and like 6 months. I think people want everything so fast. They think they can just like transform in 6 months. They can just like shred their body fat, but it's more of like it's gonna take like 7 years. That's what I like to think. It's like 7 years. I heard it's like 7 years. Every single cell or DNA that you have inside of your body is replaced with a new DNA.
Mm.
So if you stay consistent as fuck for 7 years, whether that's whatever you're doing, uh, eating healthy food, exercising, in 7 years, you're gonna have a whole new body, whole new food that you've been eating, whole new muscle fibers, whole new bones. I don't know if it goes that far, but
I can see that. You know, Link went from a kid to a teenager in Ocarina of Time in 7 years. So I see the number seven is that's for my video game nerds out there. That's for people who play Ocarina of Time. But seven is a popular number in what is it, the five percenters? And I could definitely see that. I actually read that bones replace themselves even sooner than that. And so I'm quite sure, like within 7 years, I mean, you're gonna be a brand new person. But I think you're right about the mindset thing for sure. It's just like changing the mindset, your approach to this stuff, man. Like everybody wants it quick,
definitely
and
long game.
right.
Instead of like, oh, like once I get shredded, you got to be like, I already am shredded. It's just I got to keep doing these things a certain amount of time until I get shredded, and then once I or whatever your goal is, I'd like to say, hey, get shredded, even though that might not be attainable for a lot of people. I think that having that goal is like you want to overshoot for your goals. You don't just want to be like, oh, I just want to lose 5 pounds. You might lose like 2 pounds and then gain
Hmm.
three back or some shit. But if you're like, I want to get shredded, and then you get like washboard abs, you'll be like, you got a lot closer to it than what you would have if you just said, oh, I just want to lose 10 pounds or some shit, you know?
I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think shredded is, and like, is shredded the physique? Because I sometimes it's like I feel like calisthenics is being more popularized, but then it's at the same time it's kind of like it was like boom, then it's like plateau. I still think weightlifting is always going to be the top choice for people when it comes to being in shape. I definitely think it's more people's unawareness of calisthenics. They think it's just like I mean push-ups, pull-ups, dips, and you're gonna build lean muscle. You're not gonna get jacked with calisthenics. But I definitely like the shredded physique. Do you think that people want to be more shredded or people want to be bulky? Even for women, like, what do you think? What do you guys think about the whole shredded versus I'm just big? You guys think is more popular now?
Okay, well, that's a good idea. But let's give Tyler a chance to answer the philosophy, the mindset of what it takes. So
Yeah,
we'll
no.
say that. What is shredded? And then Tyler, give your take.
That. So first, I'll say I think you gotta kind of shift to be who do you want to become, not what your goal is. And for me, it's more or less your goal is just a step by step process to become that person, right? So it's like, yeah, you might set that you want to lose 30 pounds, but at the end of doing the things that are required to lose 30 pounds, you should become a different person. And so I think if people look at it as more of a lifestyle change and asking yourself, who would you like to be character wise, then the steps you do kind of fill into that. You're going to lose 30 pounds as a byproduct of now becoming a person who works out more consistently. Does that mean every single day? Maybe, but not necessarily. It just means doing more than you did before and continuing to change that and focusing on becoming that person different than who you were. Because all it is a bunch of habits, thinking habits and action habits.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me, like it's the small goals that I try to set for myself and my clients. That's why I believe in the power of writing down, like having a journal, writing down your results, maybe taking video, taking pictures of what you look like a week before. I try to advance my training every week. Is that realistically the case? Did I make progress? No, but I try to use it as a guideline, and that kind of keeps me on. It holds me accountable because it's like, oh, I can't fall off. And I think if more people actually journal more and recorded what they were doing and talked about how they felt, maybe you felt like crap that day. And then that might cause you like, hey, you look at it from last week Monday, I felt like crap. And I wrote down what I ate. And you like, okay, last week I ate this the day before or hours before. I'm not gonna eat this time, see how I feel. You get better results this time because you ate better or you slept better. Then you're like, okay, next week I'm gonna do this. You start to see those results, and then from there it's a snowball effect because now you're putting in the right stuff in your body, you're getting optimal sleep or recovery, and now kind of like you're seeing the results because ultimately people just want to have results.
Yep.
That's
I
it.
agree with that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, bro.
I agree with that to the matter of like, I think it's what you keep awareness on. Like when you pay attention to your bank balance and you check it every morning, you're going to see if you're on the trajectory of spending or saving more. You're going to see if you're on the trajectory of adding more to your account overall. If you pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to the same thing with your weights, like, oh, last week I was lifting this. Well, let me try to lift more now. And then you continue to grow. But I don't think people really keep track of what they're doing. And that is primarily why they don't get the results.
Exactly. So what would you guys recommend? Like, well, actually, no way. It's not about a matter of recommending because I mean, ultimately, all you gotta do is grab a notepad and just write, or you got your phone. Like,
100%.
I remember, shoot, when I was back in Michigan with you guys, I remember Tyler would be like, "I'm about to notes." I was like, "Oh shoot," and it works. He would just put everything in his notes, and then he'll use that. I use notes. I use my notepad. I think you got the device right in your hand. Just
Mm-hmm.
type it. Boom. I had one of my clients. She actually shares the notes with the iCloud, so I'm able to see what she's doing. And I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah.
shoot, okay, bet she improving with this. Okay, good."
Hmm. That again, it's like it's a kind of like journaling. It allows you to see where you were, and then like you can kind of check yourself. Are you slacking off now because you just didn't think about it? Because now you can see like, oh man, I was doing this before, and I regressed. Didn't pay attention to my regression. Didn't pay attention to where I was, and then all of a sudden now again habits. It just becomes easy to stay small if you don't continue to push yourself.
Yeah, that's what it is the biggest thing is people don't track anything. They just
Hmm.
like, oh, like this is healthy. What does it say? It says low carb and it says vegan and it says what is the low sugar or some shit, whatever it says on
Yeah,
it.
man.
They get like the marketing gets them. And then
Yeah, man.
they'll be like, "Oh, I'll eat
Yes.
this
Yep.
granola because it's like it says low fat." Then they'll eat it, and then they'll go to the gym, and then they'll walk in there like, "All right, this machine's open. I'm just gonna do this machine a couple times until I get tired, and walk over here, and I'll walk on a treadmill for like 20 minutes because that's good as cardio. Get a sweat going, and then walk over there, and then do some like squats or some shit, and then they just leave, and then they come back. They're like, "Oh, like I was super sore after that." And then they're like I'm gonna go back. I don't know when I'm gonna go back to the gym, but oh, I feel like going today, so I'm gonna go today. Where it's like you need to have it like periodized. Like one of the first things that got me really consistent in the gym was like coming up with a plan first of what exercise I'm gonna do before I walk into the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not just like it's just on randomized or like the foods that you're gonna eat. Like what foods are you gonna eat even before you eat it? Not just like,
Mhm.
I'm just eating this because mom made it type shit. Like, nah, I made this. Like, I planned this in ahead of time in advance, and then I'm gonna cook it, and then I'm gonna eat it, or whatever the case is. Like, all right, this is how many calories it has, and but one of the biggest things was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm gonna go to the gym no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter how I feel or anything, I just have to do it. And there'd be times it'd be like Monday or Wednesday or some shit. It's like, man, I don't feel like going, but it's like I have to go. This is the plan. I would do it, and that got me consistent. Just 3 days a week. I think people try to overdo it too. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day. That's why people give up in February, because fuck, like, you've been going to the gym 7 days a week for 2 months, you can be burnt out.
And even then, though, like going to the gym and people, I think the biggest thing I tell my athletes that I train is, every workout doesn't have to be your last. And I tell that even in my YouTube channel, like, don't learn. Like, remember, I was back in Michigan. I would work out, shoot a video, work out with clients, go do parkour, and then come back and wonder why. Like, how come I'm still stuck at 4 handstand push-ups?
Recovery.
And then when you exactly, I'm not recovered. And then on top of that, I'm surprised I didn't burn out, like, mentally, because usually people just burn out. They're like, I'm done. For me, I didn't have injuries, so I'm thankful for that. But it's just like, ultimately, you gotta slow it down. You don't need to go 5 days a week for 2 hours. Like, one of my clients now, this guy trains for, he told me he trained for 4 hours. I was like, whoa, 4 hours. I was like, bro, we need to scale it back. Let's work out for 45 minutes to an hour. That's how long my trainings is. When I work out, it's like an hour. When I do my other skills, it might take like 30 minutes to an hour if I'm doing mobility, handstands, all that stuff, or martial arts. But other than that, like, you don't need to go crazy amount of time. I mean, 20 minutes is still 20 minutes. It's better than not doing nothing. Move your body. And I think people get caught up, like I said, in the whole, I got to put in what they said 45 to an hour. They said this. Like, no, listen to what you need to listen to. And that's what your body's telling you.
And I think that kind of can go to, for myself personally, I'll do this whole little routine thing where it's like some high knees to like a straight leg kickback pistol squat, both legs. I'll do that. Then a squat, 5 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, and then I repeat and do that 5 times. And that motion itself, like, it looks ridiculous. Like, it's like, damn, how the hell is he doing like pistol squats inside of a whole sequence? But for me, I break it down. I'm like, hey, I know if I'm doing the push-ups, I'm doing the compound motion of my chest motion. If I'm doing the pull-ups, I'm doing the compound motion of a back, I'm doing the squats and I'm doing the pistol squats. I'm isolating my legs. And then so each of these actions that I'm doing is actually correlating to increasing my ability in some kind of way. And if I can do those more proficiently and then add more to it, that's just my go-to routine every single time, and like through that, I've been able to now have a whole bunch of balance. Like I can do a whole bunch of stuff on just one leg now. My
Tyler's
mobility is
got
getting
a better pistol squat than me.
I can't say I haven't seen your pistol squat, Will, but Tyler's pistol squat definitely has improved a lot. A lot. I got a suggestion for you, Tyler. The next exercise I want you to work on. 2, look up shrimp squats and dragon pistol squat.
I've been trying the dragon. I almost got one.
Nice. Oh, that's that
He's
one.
close.
That one's a beast. That's good. That's good.
So what was the first one? A what squat?
It's called a shrimp squat. I think you'll be able to do that one, no problem.
Shrimp squat. Okay.
It's like it almost looks like a Bulgarian, not a Bulgarian, like a regular split squat, but just on one leg, right?
Yeah, yup.
Straight down, let the knee touch.
The knee touch. Yeah, that one's not as hard. I'm trying to get my dragon pistol squat more efficient on the floor now. That's my goal. So after I get that done, then I'll probably move on to some internal rotation of my legs, trying to build up my sissy squat a little bit more. But that's a good sequence, man. Like, the pistol squats are definitely like something I want to talk about in the future more, is the importance of those kind of unilateral exercises, because we were always taught, like, don't go knees over toes, it's bad for your knees and this and that and the other one. It's like quite the opposite. It's like
actually good. Yeah.
It's good for you within moderation. Like, people always say, well, you can tear up your knees or your elbows, or if you do certain movements. When people don't fail to realize is, proper way to condition their body. But that's besides the point. I really want us to help. Like,
yeah, we're getting advanced now. I'm about to ask, how do I get the dragon squat?
Yeah. Let's stick to the main thing about training. So we talked about basically,
like how Tyler's saying, he's got this routine that he does. It's effective. It doesn't take him very long. and it's all working towards goals that he wants to do.
Mhm.
That's genius.
So yeah,
Yeah.
keeping it simple. Keep it like, because he has what? Pistol squat, push up, pull up. You got
Yeah.
what? 4 compound movements all in 5 rounds. I mean, you're gonna be building strength, you're gonna be building muscle, mobility, balance, all of that stuff, body coordination. So I mean, shoot, now you gotta just get a handstand in there and you straight, man. That's when you get build your balance up even more.
Absolutely. That's something I'm gonna try to like get on with working with Will here a little bit.
Yeah, you gonna show up for the next push day, man.
Yeah, give a wheel with those handstands, man.
Heck yeah. I mean, he got me on. I did my first ring pull up the other day.
Nice. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was great. Like Will told me how to do it, like the false grip, getting it all right and everything, and then it was just a matter of just push through it. Like
Yeah.
after I had the motion down, I swear from doing the stuff I already do, it made that so much simpler. If I hadn't
Nice.
have done those other things, I'd be like,
But see, that's the key though, right there, is because once you kind of build that baseline, it's like going to the gym. You realize as you try more complex moves that you like, I won't be able to do that. You realize like, hey, my foundation's built. And I think it goes back to what Will was saying too, was basically like rather than focus on losing 5 pounds, get shredded, right? But you could take that and say, rather than focus on benching, let's say 185, let's go ahead and build a really strong foundation. Let's not worry about the numbers. And then when you try 185, like, oh, dang, I just rep this 4 times. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you could probably get into the numbers because once you hit 185, man, I'm you move from 135 to 185. I'm gonna assume that you're gonna be at the gym for a while because you got that gratification. You got your reward because you're like, dang, I hit 185. Let me try 225. So it's like not focusing. That's why I told my online guys, man, I'm not focused on like the body fat percentage, the numbers. I don't care about that. My goal is to build your mindset right now for the first couple of months. Then we'll focus on like the specialty stuff. Right now, let's change the mindset because you think about it, people think, oh man, how come I'm not getting abs in 2 months or 3 months? Well, how long did you go without working out your abs? I went 5 years. I mean, 5 years, you got to that point now.
yeah,
So it
How
takes
long were you fat, bro? Shit, 15
exactly,
years. Well,
exactly.
it might take longer than 6 months, 2 months. bro.
mhm.
And
That
that's what
goes
people
back.
need to realize is it's a process. It
Mhm.
takes a long time.
And
I
then
say, huh?
just to add in on that last part, like, yeah, the goal, have a grand goal to get shredded, but then you want to chunk it down into small bits, not, oh, like shred it instantly. Like, all right, we're going to lose 2 pounds a week, 1 pound a week. We're going to hit our calories we're going to focus on today. We're going to eat 2,000 calories day by day. Okay, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. 1 week. All right, we lost a pound. Great. Next week, do the same thing. You lose weight like 1 week at a time or gain weight 1 week at a time.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And
I,
go ahead, Tyler.
I like how you said breaking it down in chunks. That's one thing I'm key on, and that's why I like that whole sequence. I thought about what are the primary movements that most of us do in the gym. We got your push day, pull day, etc.
Mhm.
Breaking it down into the most basic things that I can do that hit multiple pieces. And then if it's like, oh, if I realize maybe my pistol squat, if you're someone who can't get a pistol squat, well, what are the things that I can do to work up to a pistol squat? You know, regular squat for a while, then doing a single leg kind of squat idea, just dragging your leg on the ground instead of like trying to let it just stay afloat. But you can break everything down into chunks that are more manageable. And then by just showing up and doing that as a habit over time, you will develop the skill.
Exactly. And like I said, like that really just building a foundation. That's what I would highly recommend for people rather than focusing on all these different the grand picture. Like we were saying, take it in chunks and look at the when Yamato Musashi says you got to look at the large by the way of the small by the way of the great. You look at everything because everything is interlocked. If you keep focused on the big picture, you get lost in that big picture. But when you take that small step, boom, okay. Then from there you kind of traverse those small steps until you get to the larger step. So it's essential that when you guys are programming for our listeners, have your long-term goals, of course, but don't get so fixated on the long-term goals. Because like Miyama Musashi also said, fixation is a way to death. So you think about that. If you come so fixated, you don't accomplish it, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, dang, you'll get discouraged. Focus on the small steps and then break it down from there. That's how people really fall off a lot. They just don't get the results. And I think ultimately, man, what I've learned about being in a big gym setting is not having the proper support that you probably want, especially with people who are in relationships. Maybe their husband, their wife isn't supportive, or maybe they see it like uh ultimately just not supportive. So how would you guys, help people? What would you guys recommend for people who are lacking that support? Because that's also ties in to motivation. If you feel like you don't have support, you're like, what am I doing this for? You know,
Like, I'd ask, do they support your regression?
that's real talk. That's real talk.
Because
That's a great response to
Yeah,
somebody.
if they
Sit
do,
at
then
the
it's
desk with somebody.
probably not the right person to be around.
yeah,
Exactly. Let's say for instance, they're in a committed relationship. They've been married for like 5 years.
Mhm.
How would you guys, this is just me being a devil's advocate, how would you guys say, you'd be like, hey, you get to that question you're talking about, hey, let's say first, did your husband support, you in his life changing process? He's not really supportive. What would you guys recommend? And this person is like, damn, they're not supportive of me.
I guess everything is all context, right? So, what does support look like to that person? And then maybe tying it into goals that the other person can see, and then understanding, hey, if I'm looking for support in this way, this is how you can help me, and make having that hard to have conversation, because maybe the other person doesn't realize that they're coming off as even not supportive because they just aren't doing the things that you're looking for as support.
You said it. I think it's really important. It wasn't even a right or wrong answer. It was just more or less, I like what you said about tying into their goals too. And I think that's important. And like you said, it's a matter of context. You gotta, for me, it boils down to communication, right? But ultimately, it's a matter of context. And when you tie that stuff back to their goals, man, and that's the thing. Like sometimes, what am I trying to say here? Basically, when people don't have that moral support, you can't just say get out of the relationship, right? You got to be like, you got to kind of tie it to something. Like, man, like for me, how I will overcome it is definitely tie it back to their goal and make it like, hey, sometimes I'm talking from a trainer to a person. I can be that foundation for you for the time being, because sometimes when you want something, it's like I was listening to a podcast earlier. When you want something, you kind of force it, or you like, man, I'm gonna just do this. But when you kind of want something, you work towards it for a while. You set that example. That person is gonna be more supportive. Then you come to find out, like, damn, you just gotta set the tone for them. So that's why, yeah, you shouldn't probably become so fixated. Like, I want this person to support me, because we all started our own entrepreneurship, right? Personal training is still entrepreneurship. We didn't probably have the best support from our immediate group of family and friends, right? We kind of had random people we met across the internet, people that hit us up through Facebook Messenger. Like, hey, I want to start working out. I like the results. I like what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to add in on that, the support thing, if you got a partner, I would just like ask your partner, like, hey, like this, the communication, hey, this is something that I really want for myself. Can you support me in this? Or are you willing to support me in this? You know, and just ask them that. And then also to like, yeah, like you said, like be the wave of change that you want to see in the world, and
Exactly.
to lead by example. Because like one thing that I noticed here, I'm living with my cousin, I moved in here, like she had a lot of unhealthy habits. I might have at points tried to like put the bug in her ear, or like try to like, you once you're inspired and happy and like, yeah, this is something that works, and you just want to share your religion with everyone, like a religious person, I might have tried to do that a couple times, you super what would it be like, evangelical type, and you just want to tell everybody, want to tell the whole world.
Yeah.
But just like by me doing my thing, kind of like, oh, like I noticed like she just doesn't drink, she just drinks soda, the whole time. I'm just drinking water though. I don't drink soda, just water, water, water. Always fill up the thing with water. Next thing you know, she's drinking water. She's drinking water. I keep going to the gym. Eventually, she gets the bug. She wants to start going to the gym. Well, where did that happen? Just through the power of influence and just kind of showing up and just becoming and being that person. You are who you surround yourself with. So by me being here and there's snacks and stuff, every once in a while I have a snack and a soda and shit. But also on the same end, on her side, by me being here, oh, she's like drinking water and exercising. So you kind of trade off those habits.
Even though we're still human though, right? Like we still like shit. I had like a Twix bar the other couple of days ago. I felt bad after eating that mug. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh, I should never ate that. But it's the moral of the story is like when someone sees like, okay, this person, it depends what they see. Like, say for instance, if I see my favorite guy, like Michael Jai White, throw a bad sidekick, I'm not gonna immediately assume like he's just not. What's wrong? I'll be like, oh, he probably need a warm up. When your cousin seeing you do that, she probably realized, oh, he's still human. He's still gonna have these things, but yet he still doesn't let that deter him. And that might have been more motivating to see herself because it's just like, damn, he had this, but he's still working. And people think these fitness people are these perfect, eat everything. Like there's some people out there, there's bodybuilders out there that will eat chicken and rice with some asparagus for like 7 days out of the week. I mean, they'll just do it. But for me, I'm not gonna eat like that. And we make our trip ups, but that doesn't dictate the rest of the plan. Like the map doesn't just fall and be like, all right, we just fell out of like whatever we were going. We're still keeping steadfast on what we need to accomplish.
100%.
Yeah,
I'll say that kind of.
I was just saying that's a huge thing too. Is like people, they'll like, oh, I've been doing so great, and then they'll like have one donut, and then they're like, oh man, I messed up. I had a donut. Now let's eat some pie, and now let's eat some pizza. Now let's have a soda, and now let's skip the gym. And now I'm kind of fat, so there's no sense in going. And then they just kind of go down the spiral.
Yep.
Where it's like, all right, yeah, you overate, but like if you just didn't eat more, that would be better than you eating a lot, continuing to just do these detrimental habits.
Exactly. Tyler, what were you gonna say?
Kind of comes down to like conversation I have a lot is like your environment. You can create your environment or you can be created by it. Everyone thinks you need to be surrounded by, people that are doing the thing to then become a person that does the thing. But if you just kind of embody the person that you want to be based on where you'd like to go, your environment might not be supportive, quote unquote, like of what you're doing. But like Will was saying, over time, the environment sees you. And then other people in your environment that might have wanted that same thing, see you striving in the same environmental conditions that they allowed to mentally keep them down. And they're going to start to do different things. Like my entrepreneurial thing, I just quit my job randomly on an Instagram poll, and then I started to do e-commerce and stuff. And then people are watching me literally building it up. And then over time, they start asking questions and then they want to be involved and they want to do things like it because they didn't think it was possible for someone in a similar situation. And it's like, well, I didn't have an environment of entrepreneurs and stuff like that. It was like I had the book Think and Grow Rich that Will gave me. And I created my mental environment by listening to more audiobooks and then just applying the things over time. And then now I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs every day.
Yeah, that is huge. Like, even me or just anybody, it could be like Kansas boy in Kansas. Like he's just surrounded by fat aunties and mom and dad. They just don't care about them health. But you can hop on the internet and find internet gurus, people who are doing it, and just constantly serenading yourself with that message. That's going to create your environment, a mental environment. That's going to
it's a lot
accountable to your goals. Yeah.
It's a lot more accessible now. So ultimately, like you said, just you can't wait on others to kind of change it for you. You gotta just want it for yourself. And you're gonna have fear. Fear is gonna be one of the biggest detriments to you not wanting to accomplish your goals. But ultimately, like it's again taking those small steps. Like it's like going to drive to the gym and drive off. Okay, boom. You ain't gotta go get so harped. I didn't go to the gym. Somebody says, oh, you didn't go to the gym, you suck. just you made it. Next time, walk to the door, go inside that mug, and get your first workout in. And just from there, like I said, journal your stuff, and
I
then
think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead.
I think you were hitting on a concept that I think the book Atomic Habits talks about. There was a guy, and he told him, "Hey, just start going to the gym. Just don't even do anything. Go in for 5 minutes, even if you're just sitting there, and then leave. And then you start developing the habit of now showing up. Eventually, you're like, man, I feel like an idiot. I'm just here and I'm leaving. Well, maybe you'll get on a machine and just try it, and then all of a sudden you leave. You start coming back. You're like, oh, let me try another machine. And then you try another machine and another, and you spend more time. And now you're becoming the person who gets the goal of going to the gym consistently.
through
Exactly.
the habit of showing up. You drove your car to the gym, and that's something that you're gonna do. That's a habit now. Now you drive to the gym and you work out.
And one of my guys is one of my clients is reading that book, Atomic Habits. So he tells me about it, and yeah, it's all it's about. You got into the habit of eating a certain way. It just didn't start. You got to think about it. We've been into this habit of eating a certain way since we were kids. I mean, these habits started when we were kids, and we just kind of like went along with it. And so, like, you getting bigger or obese, it just didn't happen. It was a process. It was a habit you kept doing. So now you got to kind of slowly reverse that habit. And it starts by making those small changes, those small accomplishments. And then from there, it just kind of falls in place for you. Now,
something that's been huge for me, and it kind of relates to that, is like the ideal avatar is just kind of thinking about, like, say you are like out of shape, fat, whatever. Like, what does the shredded person, because that's the goal, what does he do daily? Like, all right, he probably eats clean. He probably gets 7 hours of sleep at least. He probably has some type of probably tracks his workouts and his nutrition and tracks his calories and shit. He's probably dialed in. He might do like a little bit of cardio. He might do a little bit of reading. Like, create that ideal avatar, whoever he is, the things that he does every single day, and then create a habit tracker that you can go in and you can check off, okay, I did the thing that this guy does. I did this part. I did the reading. I did the track the calories. I did the workout. He probably works out every day, or like 5 days a week or something at least. Did the sleep. If you got a goal for business, probably worked on his business. So by doing those daily habits and having like a habit tracker that you go in and you track it every single day, not only is that going to hold you accountable, so you can look back at it and say, okay, did I do it today or I didn't? Or are you going to be like, man, it's going to create like a discontent when you don't get to check it off. Like, damn, I didn't do it today. It's going to like bother you. And then it's also going to create like dopamine, you coming in, checking that habit, and then seeing all these rows lined up where you've completed every single day, and you can be like, oh man, am I gonna miss it today? Like, no, I can't. I gotta be able to check this off, so I gotta get it done.
right. No question.
And it becomes more, again, it's a lifestyle shift, and it happens over time. Like, even like how Will and I, we were talking a while back, how many podcasts that we've either seen start up or have been on that started up, and this one is the most consistent. This one's the one that continues to grow, and it's because we continue to come and revisit the idea. We revisit the goal, and I think it was Think and Grow Rich that talks about the continual realization of an idea. If you have a goal for yourself, it doesn't matter if you're falling off today. Do you revisit that goal and see how you can revise and move back towards it the next time? And over time, you will eventually become that person who does the thing. So even if you aim to go to the gym 3 times a week and then become an athlete who does these things, you might miss a couple weeks where you do 1 time a week. But do you continue to say, all right, just because I missed it, and try it again, try it again, try it again. Continue to make it work for yourself until you become that person.
Yeah,
Right.
that's huge, man. That's huge. You brought me back.
But yeah, I think that's a perfect way to segue, because I actually want to break this down into some parts, because I think that we I think we had some broke down, giving some good advice, and I think we tied it into different areas, like not just training or fitness. Make it more of like good nutritional choices, financial choices, build up your credit and all that stuff. We could tie this into so many different things. So let's definitely we're gonna definitely do a part 2 for this. But yeah, guys, it was a good podcast as usual. Guys, listeners, let us know if you want to talk about your what you guys suggest for our next topic of discussion. Anything else you guys want to add before we go ahead and close out?
We'll save it for the next one, man.
Save for the next one. Part 2.
Working out and stuff. Part 2.
All right, guys. Well, look, it was a pleasure that you guys listened to us. Hope you guys enjoyed today's Fill Your Cup podcast. It's your boy, Spence Crosby with Tyler Wellness and illWill, Professor illWill. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.